Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beach. Today, scores of Congress workers were detained because they were protesting against the charge sheet which was filed by the Enforcement Directorate yesterday, sometimes early evening, in the National Herald case. Now, what we are trying to look at is that how do you decode this charge sheet which was filed by the Enforcement Directorate? What has it listed in itself? What are the sections it has invoked? And does it look like a watertight case? Now, just to give you a little brief of what the probe agency has named as accused, then what are the sections it has invoked? Now, the probe agency has named former Congress President Sonia Gandhi as accused number one, Rahul Gandhi as accused number two, and these charges were filed under various sections of the PMLA Act before the Court of Special Judge Vishal Gogne. Now, the charge sheet also names Congress associates Suman Dubey and Sam Petroda, the company's Young Indian and Dotex Merchandise Private Limited, and Sunil Bhandari of Dotex Merchandise as accused. Now, ED has invoked sections 44 and 45 of the PMLA Act for committing offense of money laundering under Section 3 of the Act, along with Section 70, which deals with offenses by companies to establish the vicarious liability of the firms and office bearers and executives. Now, what the agency has sought is the punishment for the accused under Section 4 of the PMLA, which provides for a jail term of up to 7 years. Now, the charges against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, briefly, I'll give you what the charge sheet has listed. Enforcement Directorate has cited a 2017 income tax assessment order, has alleged in its charge sheet that key office bearers of AICC, along with the principal officers of Associated Journals Limited and Young Indian, orchestrated a criminal conspiracy to take over properties worth 2,000 crore belonging to AJL, which is an unlisted company. Now, the ED has also mentioned that 99% of AJL's shares were transferred to Young Indian, a private firm, for just 50 lakh. Now, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi each hold a 38% stake in Young Indian, while the remaining 24% was jointly held by the late Motilal Vora and late Oscar Fernandez, whom the ED describes as close associates of the Gandhis. Now, the charge sheet further alleges that the accused conspired to convert an outstanding loan of 90.21 crore, earlier extended by AICC to AJL, into equity shares worth 9.02 crore, which were then transferred to Young Indian for a nominal sum. Now, this move, the ED claims, effectively gave Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi beneficial ownership of AJL's vast real estate. Then, the last thing what has been discussed in the charge sheet, although the Young Indian was registered under Section 25 of the Companies Act as a not-for-profit entity, a defense which Congress has highlighted consistently, the ED has maintained that the company did not engage in any charitable activities. Sources have said that the agency found no expenses related to such activities during the Young Indians' existence. Now, the charge sheet also refers to the 2017 income tax assessment order to support its claim that Young Indian evaded over 414 crore in taxes by illegally acquiring AJL's assets. So we'll try and understand, we'll try and decode this charge sheet, and which on the record, I must say that a number of Congress people I spoke to since morning, they have said that they have not seen the copy of the charge sheet. So these selective leaks. Joining me this evening is veteran Supreme Court lawyer Sanjay Hegde. So thank you so much for joining. And my first question to you, and it really baffles me, that are these selective leaks, this information which has come out, and the channels, the TV channels, the way they are reporting, it looks as if it's a watertight case against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. So are these selective leaks which have happened deliberately?
They're not leaks. They're the same story rehashed.
Okay.
The facts have not changed for over a decade now. Everything is exactly where it was, as far as the facts are concerned.
Okay.
Because way back when the transaction was taken, essentially what happens is that there's Associated Journals, which has huge losses, but it has a lot of property. At the same point of time, its losses are paid off by the Congress party, then converted it into equity, and that equity then is transferred to Young India. And Young India thus has a controlling interest over the assets of associated journals. Corporate restructuring often happens in the corporate sector, and these things often happen at the instance of tax planners, at the instance of chartered accountants and whatnot. Somewhere or the other, the same thing seems to have been done with what was essentially viewed as a party asset. So the party pays for all the loans, and thereafter it is transferred to a company, a special purpose vehicle, which is the shares of which are held by senior party functionaries. 38% plus 38% makes 76%. So that is effective control of the holding company. And because the company requires a minimum number of shareholders, there are other shareholders also, and the shareholding is distributed among them, people who are trusted. This is the entire transaction. Now, about this transaction and whether it is criminal in nature, there is a criminal case pending. That has not come to fruition. There has been no decision as yet. That was pending in another court. Now let me back up a bit. Let's get into what is money laundering. The term money laundering came way back in the 1920s when the US mafia made money through breaking prohibition laws. They made a lot of money, and that had to be legitimately shown. So they invested it in laundries and showed the receipts as cash receipts. That is where all unaccounted money got explained. So that is how so from those laundries you get the phrase money laundering. And later on, the Western world basically decided, international treaties decided, that money earned from arms, illegal arms, as well as illegal drugs, that is money which should be recovered from the criminals. So under international treaties, the Money Laundering Act was launched. But when India made its Money Laundering Act, it created a schedule which encompassed almost everything. It did not restrain itself as far as crimes of relating to arms or crimes relating to drugs are concerned. Anything and everything. If there was a criminal case pending against you, then conceivably most of your money came as a result of the criminal case, as a result of and your assets became proceeds of crime, and the ED thought it thinks that it has jurisdiction over you.
No, but the way this charge sheet is made out, and the kind of sections which have been invoked, does it look like a case of criminal conspiracy? BJP spokesperson since morning. In the morning, I heard Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. Then I heard Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, and talking as if that what kind of a crime has been done by Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi.
Well, politicians will speak to their point of view of the party. So yes, the word criminal conspiracy also has a peculiar meaning in law. Two persons may agree to do an illegal act, that's a criminal conspiracy, or a legal act by illegal means, that also becomes a criminal conspiracy. So almost everything can occasionally be termed a criminal conspiracy. If you and I decide to talk on this show, but then we have a pre-decided agenda to cause disaffection against the government, then we may have engaged into a criminal conspiracy to commit sedition. So it's in that phraseology that criminal conspiracy has been used. Just give me one more minute to explain things.
Yes.
So there is the original criminal complaint, and if the ED decides to get in, it files a second complaint saying that money that you earned, that is the proceeds of crime, and that has resulted in money laundering. The okay, let's split up the offense and make two offenses out of the same set of transactions. That's how the law is. The peculiar thing about the PMLA is that bail is very difficult to get. So if the ED decides to arrest anybody accused of money laundering, then you will see that courts have a very high standard to to judge before they grant bail. And that is the sense of what is happening. They say that the sense of tyranny is the ability to make a harsh law and to use it selectively against your opponents.
No, but the
That's it.
sections, sir, which have been invoked now, whether it's section 45 or section 44, then they are talking about a section which lands up in a jail term of 7 years. Now, is that going to hold water when the matter reaches the court? And I'm sure it's going to be appealed by the Congress, as Dr. Singhvi also said. He held a press conference, and right now, as we are going live, I think this press conference is still on, and so I'm not able to hear what exactly he's saying. But will it hold scrutiny of the court? I mean, when it reaches a higher court?
See, it all depends on a stage to stage thing. Ultimately, the ED has had no real success in convicting most people. It has a success rate of 2% or less.
Hmm.
The ED's prosecution depends on the original prosecution. That has to first conclude. Once there is a conclusion that there is guilt established in the predicate offense, only then can the ED offense be proved.
No, so which means that
so
am I
it's, so
understanding
they,
it- no,
so
I'm
it's very
saying,
easy to make allegations and file a case. Very
Right.
difficult to prove.
But if I'm understanding it correctly, the original complaint was filed by Dr. Subramanian Swamy. So this is a
Yes.
follow-up of that particular complaint. You are saying that only once, on the basis of this complaint, if we find the Gandhi is guilty, then only it will take up a follow-up course.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's only when Dr. Subramaniam Swamy's complaint or any other complaint regarding the same transaction reaches a finality after a trial, can any other court in the PMLA also reach a conclusion on whether there was money laundering. If the original complaint falls, if the predicate offense goes, then the complaint on money laundering also goes. That's the law.
Okay. So which means that if this complaint gets dismissed or the court completely dismisses it, then the entire case against the Gandhis gets demolished.
Yes.
Okay. But I'm also wanting to talk to you about the time taken by this PMLA court. Now, you remember when the PMLA courts were established, it was said that, these will be some fast track courts, and it'll be the entire process will be fast tracked. And in this particular case, it seems that the ED was gasping till the last moment. I mean, the 365th day, they took 1 year, and the 365th day, they filed the charge sheet. Now, what kind of a commentary is it on the working of the ED?
Well, the ED officers also know that those whom they prosecute today, they may not be able to prosecute tomorrow. You must remember that the ED went after Mr. D.K. Shivkumar. The ED went after Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. The ED went after a whole series of people. So the ED also is a creature of statute, and sometimes just to keep the process going, they do not want to be totally out of time. So therefore, on the last possible day, they have filed it, and they may expect that the courts will take their own time about deciding.
I also want to talk to you about the fact that the Congress leaders have said that they don't have a copy of the charge sheet. They haven't seen the charge sheet, and they're calling Rahul and Sonia and Suman Dubey and Sam Pitroda all as accused, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And the media also started reporting about it. Now, the fact that media has been indulging in these kind of anomalies in so many cases, a public trial even before things are proved. But in this particular case, do you think that the Congress can really go behind the media, that why they started reporting on it without even and it seems that the ED officers have been leaking these stories. Look at all the websites, the way they have reported on each and every section which has been invoked in this particular case. What would you say to a public trial like this? And what happens if the case gets demolished? Are we going to again see the media saying sorry to the Gandhis? Like we saw one of the TV owners, the TV channel owners recently saying sorry to Riya Chakravarti.
Well, but that has not given Riya Chakravarti any money or any solace, right?
Absolutely.
Media today exists for the nightly debates and the consequent TRPs. It is not looking into its core function, nor is it looking into the future. Sufficient unto the day and the evil thereof, and the debates thereof seems to be the focus. The Supreme Court on several occasions has condemned this habit of leaking and of selective leaks. There will be some case, may not be this, may not be Riya Chakravarti, where some TV channel or the other will be at the receiving end of a huge financial compensation. But till then, I do not expect any great realization on the part of the media or its owners.
I was reading those parts of the charge sheet which have come out in the public domain, and they are saying, and they are going on repeatedly saying this, that the charge sheet refers to the 2017 income tax assessment order to support its claim that young Indian evaded 414 crore in taxes by illegally acquiring AJL's assets. Now, what is the basis of quoting this income tax assessment order? Does it give more credibility to the claims made by ED? Why are they referring to this particular order?
Well, they are seeking to use the persuasive value of that order.
Okay.
I think that also is up in appeal, and the appeal is pending in the Delhi High Court, to the best of my information.
Okay.
But what happens is that somebody then first files a case, then you seek justification. The first filers in this case were Dr. Subramanian Swamy, and he was possibly assisted by a couple of CAs who thought that there was a technical flaw in the way that the Young India and Associated Journals deal was structured. Thereafter, Dr. Swamy filed a complaint. Shortly thereafter, became a Rajya Sabha member, and this thing has, his case has continued well past his term as a Rajya Sabha member. Let us see whether it comes to a fruition. The ED or any other investigating agency is often cannot really foresee how a case would play out in trial, nor does it look to it also. It is often satisfied by a trial by media at the stage of filing of the complaint. Things which are seen to be a slam dunk in the 9 o'clock debates often come undone much later. But at that point of time, who cares?
Right. And, another thing which has been talked about is the fact this Section 25 of the Companies Act, as far as Young Indians is concerned, that it was registered under Section 25. But ED is also making claims that, the company did not engage in any charitable activities. And to top it all, they are also saying that there is enough money trail. There are documentary evidences, there are statements of witnesses which they have recorded. And given the political potential of this particular case, as it involves the high political family of the country, do you think that ED will really take a chance as far as fixing these little details in the case is concerned? Because I'm sure they would be also aware of the fact that if there is egg on the face, then what happens to ED?
Well, that's all not in the immediate future, right? They do expect that the trial in the predicate offense will take time, and appeals and all that. So most government officers look to their term during the government of the day. thereafter, if the situation changes, their minds also change.
But the biggest question which everyone is asking, and we've already seen what happened as far as Rahul's Lok Sabha membership was concerned. I mean, it got revoked, and he had to be out of parliament for months. And the trial proceeded. There were court proceedings, and then he got his Lok Sabha membership back. But in this particular case, is there an iota of that possibility where Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi can be jailed, even if it is just for a few hours? Forget about days and months.
Jailed, yes, but as under trials. But unless there's a conviction, there's no question of a disqualification from Lok Sabha membership. The thing is that the ED has the power to take people into custody in order to help with their investigations, and then thereafter, a court, before it grants bail, has to meet a very high standard. That prima facie that there is no case, not prima facie, but the court should be satisfied that there is no case and that the offense will not be repeated. So that has often given rise to almost mini trials being conducted at the bail stage.
Right. But as you said, that they can be jailed as under trial. So they can meet the same fate what Arvind Kejriwal met, what Sanjay Singh met, what Satyendra Jain met. So that kind of a fate they can meet.
Yes, because all those people that you have named, has any court found them guilty yet? No. The cases are pending. It is the power to arrest and deny bail for some time, which itself is a huge Damocles sword.
But legally, sir, how watertight is this case, according to you, and the sections which they have imposed? And does it look like a watertight case?
No, see, I told you that I don't think that the original case stands. Okay. If the original case doesn't stand, then this falls automatically. So there's no question of being watertight. It's there are holes all over, but it will take time.
Okay, so holes all over, it will take time, but you said that Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi can be jailed. That is a possibility one cannot rule out. So my last question to you, Mr. Hegde, is that as what Congress has been claiming, that this is purely a case of political vendetta. As a lawyer and as a constitutional expert, and you follow politics also very, very closely, what do you think is the real intention behind this particular case?
The real intention is to wave the sword, show the sword, and you never know when it can be suddenly used. So therefore, and it is not only with regard to this family. The fact that proceedings have been taken to this extent is also a message to all the other families.
No, but BJP has been doing it with many people, like Arvind Kejriwal it has done, Hemant Soren also, why to forget, and the kind of hard observation which the Supreme Court came with as far as Hemant Soren's case is concerned. I mean, I'm just wondering that so many times ED has been demolished by the court through some order or the other, but still there are no learning lessons by the ED officials. What happens? I mean, is there conscience?
That is because no ED official has lost his job for prosecutorial overzealousness or for being not fair. In fact, anytime that a court admonishes them, probably they end up getting a better post,
yes,
or rewarded.
That's true.
So there is no disincentive against bad behavior, and there are rewards for if bad behavior is found out.
Okay. So my last question, sir. Now the next hearing in the Rouse Avenue Court is scheduled for 25th of April, when the this charge sheet will come up and they will take cognizance. So what can really happen? Is there a possibility that the Gandhis might be arrested that day, or the case might take longer?
See, the decision to arrest is that of the investigating agency, which is the ED in this case. But I'm sure that no investigating officer will take that decision without specific political clearance. They can very well say that, look, we have concluded our investigations, we have filed our complaint. Now let's go to trial. We don't need the accused anymore.
True. So all eyes would be now on what happens on 25th of April. But as I told you in the beginnings, Congress workers were detained. They were protesting against this ED charge sheet, and we've decoded this ED charge sheet for you with Mr. Sanjay Hegde. And so we'll have to wait and watch how this case unfolds. But the anxiety and those anxious moments for Congress continue as to what is going to really happen to their bosses. Thank you so much, Mr. Hegde, for joining on The Federal. Thank you. Thank you, sir.